This is Annapolis, and these are the midshipmen who make up the brigade of the United States Naval Academy. These are their stories, full of their laughter, their heartache, their tragedies and triumphs. The stories of the men of Annapolis.
How much time's he got?
10 seconds, Coach.
Come on! Come on!
How are the boys doing, Coach?
I've been supervising this obstacle course for quite a while. You know something, Captain? I still suffer as much as they do. Maybe it's because I know they've got to pass this one before they can get a commission.
That's Chet's roommate, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Frank Ober, all right.
Where's Chet? I don't see him.
Come on! The worst is over. Come on! Good. Good work, Mr. Ober. Thanks. Nice time, too. Well, how many does that leave?
He's the last one.
Your son better get down here before it's too late, Captain. This is the last day to make up the requirement for the mids who failed it.
I'm sure he knows about it, Coach.
I guess so. Sorry, Captain. Well, we'd better get these times entered in the record for these men. See you, Captain.
So long, Captain.
Well done, Mr. Ober.
Thank you, Captain. Sir.
Yes, Mr. Ober.
I wonder if I might talk to you, sir, as my roommate's father, not as head of the Foreign Languages Department.
Why, of course, Mr. Ober. Please do.
Well, I guess you came down here to see Chet, and you're kind of disappointed he's not here.
That's right. Fathers are likely to be interested in their sons, especially Academy fathers with Academy sons.
Oh, I don't have to tell you how much the Navy means to Chet, sir. It's his whole life. Like he keeps telling me, he's the third generation of Vickers who've gone to the Academy.
Which causes the second generation some misgiving.
I'm not quite sure I get you, sir.
This obstacle course is a requirement for graduation. Unless you run it in 3 minutes, 20 seconds, you don't get your commission. The Navy means so much to Chet. Why isn't he here?
What are you doing here?
Hi, Frank. Come here, let me show you something. Buddy, just look at this. I finally did it. That instructor's gonna flip when he sees this.
You know what time it is, Chet?
I'll give it to you down to the minute, chum. I think this little gadget I've worked out here can be used in guided missile work. In fact, I think...
I'll tell you what I think. I think you ought to be down at the obstacle course right now instead of fooling around with this stuff. Right away. Looks like it's trying to rain.
Fooling around, he calls it. Man, this is electronics. The heart of the new Navy.
Look, Chet, there isn't going to be any Navy for you unless you pass that obstacle course. You and I built that the first time around. Now when you're supposed to be making it up, where do I find you? Over a lab table. You're one of the top 5 in this class anyway.
Hey, you don't think I've forgotten about it, do you? Only I really think I'm on the verge of turning something up here. Remember that paper that was sent to Washington and published?
Chet, use your head. You're bilging European literature. You don't seem to realize what's important.
I know what's important, John. That European lit'll be a breeze if I really try.
I know that, but...
So what's there to be so steamed up about, huh?
Plenty. I thought you might like to know. Your dad's worried, too. He's down at the course to see if you'd make it this time.
Yeah, one thing about being a Vickers in the Navy. There's always a Vickers around to see that you make anything. That's the trouble with being a tradition, I guess. Okay, I'll close up shop here.
I'd go see your father if I were you. He seems to be more worried about that obstacle course than you are.
Relax, chum. I'll drop by and put his mind at ease.
Come in.
Midshipman Vickers, first class, sir.
Sit down, Chet.
Thanks. Frank told me you were kind of upset about not finding me at the obstacle course when he was there.
To be perfectly honest with you, I was. But now you're here, it's all right. How did you make out with it?
Oh, I haven't been there yet. I'm on my way now.
From the look of the weather outside, I'd judge you made a bad tactical error.
You mean it looks like rain? Well, I hadn't planned on setting any records on that course, Dad. Just pass it, that's all.
Chet, it seems to me you're being mighty casual about it, considering you failed it once.
Look, I'm not going to fail it. It only takes 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Listen, I've hit on something that's really going to make the family proud of me. I think I've solved a problem that's had our class stumped all year. After all, we Vickers do have a reputation to uphold.
You talk like it's a burden.
I don't know, maybe it is. I know I've got a lot more important things to think about than being a hero on the obstacle course.
More important, you can't graduate from the Naval Academy without it. What's more important than that?
The problem I solved in my free time, that's more important.
I see. The midshipmen are now making the decisions as to what's important in their training. You might take that up with your grandfather and see what he thinks of that.
Don't you worry about Grandfather. When he hears what I turned up this afternoon, I don't think he's going to think that obstacle course means much.
If I'd failed a test in anything, I'd take it as a personal challenge.
To me, the only challenge is something you can excel in. Otherwise, why even try it? Well, Luck, I better go. I'll see you at Grandfather's later, huh?
Good luck, son.
Just imagine, my grandson, and his work is brilliant enough to be published in a technical journal. That's the kind of officers this new Navy of ours needs.
Father, in my opinion, you're spoiling that boy.
Stuff and nonsense. He's got class written all over him. In my opinion, he's going places.
On his terms, yes.
What do you mean by that?
It's becoming more obvious every day.
Instead of beating around the bush, I think you better tell me what's bothering you about that boy.
All right, sir. I will. Chet's brilliant. He's got the stuff in him to make a great officer. But I'll tell you something about Chet. He only fights to win when it suits him, when he thinks it's important.
Well, don't we all?
No, Dad, we don't. Leadership doesn't come because you're a mental genius. It comes because you can get more out of your men than anyone else. And the only way you can do that is to learn that you can't pick and choose what you'd like to do, but give your best to everything.
You're saying he doesn't?
Only in what interests him. Only what he can win in. Take this obstacle course. He could have made it easily, but when he saw he wasn't going to be among the leaders, he just fell back, took it easy, and bilged it. It isn't just the obstacle course. It's what it represents that worries me. That ought to be Chet. I'll let him in.
Midshipman Ober, first class, sir.
Come in. Come in, Mr. Ober. I was expecting Chet.
Oh, sorry, Captain. I was looking for him myself. Isn't he here, sir?
We expect him in a minute. Come on in. Take off those wet things.
Oh, no, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
What is this? Why are you looking for Chet?
He said he was going to see his grandfather.
You better tell me what this is about.
Well, sir,
Come in, Chet.
Captain, if you'd excuse me, I better be going, sir.
Perhaps you can tell me what this is all about, Mr. Ober.
Well, sir.
Frank.
Sorry, Chet. I was just worried how you were. I thought maybe there was something I could do to help.
I'll be all right.
Sure. I'll see you back at the room later. Everything's going to be all right.
Sure. See you later.
Yeah. See you later. Captain?
Come on in, Chet.
Hello, Chet.
I think Chet has some news for us, sir.
Well, I bilged the obstacle course.
What do you mean? You told me you could make it easily this time.
The rain. The whole place was soaking. I was in mud up to my ankles. Slipping, falling down, sliding.
Well, couldn't you postpone the test?
Yes, sir, they gave me that choice. But seeing as how it was a makeup and I'd stalled getting there earlier, I just didn't take it.
You asked for no special favors? I go along with you there, Chet.
Do you know what that means, Father?
They wouldn't scuttle him for that. A mid with a scholastic record like his? Just because he couldn't traverse an obstacle course in the rain?
It isn't a question of the rain, Father. He's bilged it before. Regulations.
Regulations. It seems to me this is a very unusual case. He could have asked for another postponement and didn't. Now, surely they wouldn't penalize a midshipman for that.
One moment, sir. I appreciate how you feel about this, grandfather, but I don't want any special favors.
Just a moment, son. We'll think of something.
There's nothing to think about. I had my chance and I flubbed it.
Well, what happens now?
He's bilging 2 subjects. He'll go before the academic board.
Well, you're on the board, aren't you?
All department heads are.
Can't you understand? I don't want any special favor just because I'm a Navy junior. I want to be treated just like anybody else.
Now, one moment, mister. You don't get any special favors because you're a Vickers, you can be sure of that. In fact, you get fewer favors because more is expected of you. On the other hand, I don't think there's any harm in making sure that you get every break that's coming to you as a midshipman.
If you don't mind, sir, I'd like to be excused.
Tell me, if he weren't your son, if he were just another midshipman with his record, and you heard this at the academic board, would you give him another try at it?
You want an honest answer?
By all means, let's have an honest answer.
I think I'd vote to disqualify.
Gentlemen, let me have your attention. You all know why you're here. You failed 1 or more courses. Now, whether or not you will be disqualified from the Academy will be decided by the members of the academic board meeting in the next room. When the board has heard your case, you are to return here and wait. You'll hear a buzzer. If it buzzes once, you've been disqualified. If it buzzes twice, you're to go back in again. Are there any questions? All right, you're first.
We're just wasting time, you know that. I had a friend here last year. They put him through all this. Went in, made a speech. Nothing happened. They bilged in just the same. You gonna give him a sad, sad story?
I don't know.
They heard everything. What'd you bilge in, electronics?
No. No, I didn't bilge in electronics.
I bilged electronics. Electronics is tough. Ordnance is tough, too. I bilged ordnance. Did you bilge ordnance?
No, I didn't bilge ordnance either. That was easy for me. Look, maybe they'll give you a chance to make it up and I'll help you, huh?
Sure. That'd be nice. Only trouble is, I bilged marine engineering, too. Say, if you didn't build ordnance and electronics, how come you're here?
Midshipman Vickers, first class, sir.
Sit over here. Mr. Vickers, we attempt to run the work of this board in a sympathetic and understanding way. Our duty is to help you, as well as maintain the standards of the Academy. Now, if there's anything we ought to know, it doesn't appear in the record, you have this opportunity to explain now.
Excuse me, Admiral. I request permission to withdraw from the board during the proceedings on this particular case. Inasmuch as this midshipman is personally known to me, I would not like my presence here to influence the judgment of this board.
Permission granted. Mr. Vickers, the board has studied this report before. Is there anything you'd like to add to it?
No, sir.
Mr. Vickers, do you know your grade in European literature?
I do, sir. 2.35.
Well, how do you account for that?
I can't, sir.
You mean that you are pleased with it, Mr. Vickers?
No, sir.
Well, what do you propose to do about it?
Improve it, sir.
Have you any explanation as to why you failed to pass the obstacle course in the required time? Some extenuating circumstance, perhaps, you might like to call to our attention now?
No, sir, I haven't.
Mr. Vickers, is there any reason you know why you cannot complete the obstacle course in the specified time?
No, sir, there is none, sir.
Mr. Vickers, is remaining in the Navy important to you?
It's the most important thing in my life, sir.
Well, there's nothing in your record to show that you made any special effort to master the obstacle course. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct, sir.
Well, why is that, Mr. Vickers?
Well, I'm not trying to excuse myself, sir. It's just that it didn't seem important to me. I realize now I was wrong. It's not up to me to decide what's important and what isn't. I see that now. But when you've got the example of your father and his father, it's more than just doing well. You've got to do better than anyone else. So I stressed the things I could excel in and slacked off the others.
If any of you gentlemen any further questions to ask Mr. Vickers? Very well, you may wait outside. If your presence is required again, we shall ring twice.
Aye, aye, sir. Thanks, Dad.
I don't see why I read any thanks.
A funny thing happened in there after you left, Ed. Suddenly, I wasn't Chester Howard Vickers III. I was me, on my own.
You've always been on your own, son.
No, I was different. Until now, I was always competing with you, with Grandfather, trying to measure up to 2 generations of Vickers who'd already made their mark in the Navy. But in there, suddenly it was too late for all that. And besides, it just didn't matter anymore.
That was where we couldn't help you.
I think I've learned that lesson. I was wrong to fight you and Grandfather, to try to be better. I should have just been myself.
No matter what happens, I'll always be proud of you.
How can you say that? You know the Navy is all I want in life.
We're a Navy family and proud of it. Just the same, you've done something that makes me glad you're my son. You could have asked for a postponement when it was raining, but you didn't. And you took your chances with the board like any midshipman.
I let you down, Dad. And Grandfather. I see now I got what I deserved.
No.
It isn't just the obstacle course. Always I had to win, to shine on my terms. You tried to tell me that, but Somehow I just couldn't get it through my thick skull.
The important thing is that you know it now. Remember that.
Yes, sir. I know it now, all right.
Speaking not as your father, but as a naval officer, I'd like to shake your hand.
I'd be honored, sir.
Good luck, son.
Captain, the superintendent would like you back in the boardroom.
Thank you.
Mr. Vickers, this board has looked into the matter of your failing to pass in European literature. Also, the obstacle course in the required time. Captain Vickers, you disqualified yourself from considering this case for personal reasons. However, we feel that you should be here when we reach the final decision in this case. In the event you disagree with our findings, we should welcome your comment.
Yes, sir.
We have decided to give you a re-examination in European literature. We have also learned that there was a sudden rainstorm the day you ran the obstacle course. Mr. Vickers, it is a feeling of this board that if, in your opinion, you can qualify under normal conditions, you should have the opportunity, but only if you can qualify. Do you think you can make it this time in 3 minutes and 20 seconds?
Yes, sir.
Very well. You may wait. That'll be all. And good luck.
Thank you, sir.
You ready, Mr. Vickers?
Right, Coach.
Good. Look, I'll give you the signal to start. While you're going through it, we'll go over to the finish line to time you in. You all right?
Yeah.
You're sure?
Yes, Coach.
Okay. How's he doing?
A few seconds behind.
He'll make it up.
Seconds. Come on, Chet. Come on, man. You got it made. Chet! Come on, Chet!
How'd he do?
He made it with 5 seconds to spare. You made it, man. You're in. You made it.
Well, let's go in, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. Sure been a rough deal breaking in a new roommate. Captain? Well, I'll see you later, huh?
Yeah, Frank. Midshipman Vickers, first class, sir.
At ease. Well done, son.
Yes, this is Annapolis, the United States Naval Academy, proud of its dignity, its history, its traditions, but most of all, proud of its men. Next week, we will bring you another story of the men of Annapolis. Midshipman Chet Vickers was played by Mason Allen Deinhardt. Captain C.H. Vickers by Carlisle Mitchell. Midshipman Frank Ober was played by William Swan.